Holy Gospel of our Savior Jesus Christ according to John.
Glory be to you, Lord.
Jesus said, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. The hired hand, who is not the shepherd and does not own the sheep, sees the wolf coming and leaves the sheep and runs away. And the wolf snatches them and scatters them. The hired hand runs away because a hired hand does not care for the sheep. I am the good shepherd. I know my own know me, just as the Father knows me and I know the Father. And I lay down my life for the sheep. I have other sheep that do not belong to this fold. I must bring them also, and they will listen to my voice. So there will be one flock, one shepherd. For this reason the Father loves me, because I lay down my life in order to take it up again. No one takes it from me, but I lay it down of my own accord. I have power to lay it down, and I have power to take it up again. I have received this command from my Father. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise be to thee, O Christ.
Please be seated. Picture, if you will, a couple of elementary-aged children standing in front of a freshly painted fence, screaming out commands to a ladybug. The ladybug is on the post, the very bottom post that has not yet been painted, and it's walking straight towards the wet paint. And the children are screaming because they're trying to protect the ladybug. They're trying to call to her. They're trying to scare her away. They're using little sticks and pieces of leaves to try to get the ladybug not to walk into the wet paint where it will be stuck forever. What a strange experience it must be for the ladybug. Right? Who are these people? And why won't they stop yelling? Gotta do my thing. I'm walking up this post. And how interesting to stop and think for a moment how these children are using everything in their capacity, their eyes, their hearts, their compassion, their voice, their intelligence, all trying to save this little thing. If only it would listen. Some years ago, I was in Ireland, and I had a chance, as part of the tour we were on, to go to a demonstration of a shepherd and a sheepdog. Have you ever seen a real shepherd do their thing with a real sheepdog? Like, this is on par with Grand Canyon, like, watch the full eclipse, like, put this on your bucket list, because it was incredible. The shepherd, so imagine, imagine the distance from here across the water, probably to where the freighters are going. A distance that large. That was how big the area was that we were watching. The shepherd was simply standing at a high point, and then it went down into a valley. There were rocks, there was a creek. It went high up the other side, and there were scrub trees all around, and all sorts of different dangers. And this shepherd, whistling to this sheepdog and calling out commands, that dog was remote controlled. It may have been a robot, I'm not sure. This is why sheepdogs are so smart. He had commands to have the dog go around and have the sheep come around the other side. He had commands if the flock was starting to separate. He had commands for the dog to come around and bring them back together as one. He had commands if there was a single sheep that had been left behind for the dog to circle back and bring that one back up. He had commands to go straight, go right, go left. And this shepherd, using the sheepdog, took the entire flock all the way into the distance, all the way up, over and around, down and back, over and across, and brought them all straight into the sheep pen. And the shepherd didn't have to move his feet. All he did was call out the commands. Using his mind and his heart, the sheepdog simply needed to trust, and the sheep followed the way that they were being led. Stop and think for a moment about, first of all, how well that works, and then how bad it would work if the sheep were super independent and insistent on doing their own thing. Today I want to give you 7 habits of highly effective sheep. Okay, this is for all of us. And if you have a hard time remembering, just remember the first 2. Okay, because God is our shepherd. God is the one who sees the whole picture. God is the one who sees the flow and the direction of all the things. God is the one calling out to us to keep us from walking into the wet paint. We simply need to be good sheep. And it's not easy because we don't easily become dependent. We are by nature independent. And that's why point number 1 is to find a way to drop your independence. Now, I want to be clear. This doesn't mean in the world. This doesn't mean don't be a leader among other people. It doesn't mean go try things or create things or have your own mind or your own heart. It doesn't mean go along with other people in the world rather than speaking your truth. It simply is between you and God. Okay? When I say being dependent, I mean between you and God. In a sense, it's to take the innate rebelliousness in all of us. I'm in charge. I'll follow my own way. I don't need anybody's help. It all depends on me. And doesn't it feel great when things are going good? It all depends on me and it's all going good. I must be amazing until we get in over our head. We are sheep, my friends. We are sheep. Everyone else are sheep too, so we're equal with them, but we need a shepherd. The number 1 habit for a highly effective sheep is in your executive function, okay? To drop your rebellion and for us to admit that we need a shepherd. In a sense, what we're doing is dropping our independence and being willing to link up with a partner. This may feel a little bit like getting married. Okay? It might feel a little bit like, okay, that's all I've got. Feels a lot like trusting yourself to God. This can be very, very hard, okay? But in your executive function, to drop your sense of independence, your spiritual independence, and be open to trusting. And then point number 2 is to link yourself to God and let God be your shepherd. Let God be your shepherd. This means from now on your life is directed by 2, not 1. You listen to the Father and you look for direction. When you're looking for what to do with your life, you seek a sense of call. You don't only look outside, you look inside, you listen. You listen for the voice of the shepherd. You listen for the ways that things are opening in front of you or doors that are closing in front of you, because that's part of the shepherd using God's sheepdog, using the Holy Spirit to close doors, to help you to go this way, to open doors, to help you to go that way. Number 1 is to drop your independence. And number 2 is for us to partner our spirits, to hitch our lives to God and say, from now on, this is a 2-person plan. I'm here to do the work, but I listen for your direction and I will follow. Now, the third point is you might need to change your concept of God for this. If you think of God as one who stands above all, who has commandments and laws which must be followed, and if you make him angry, he will smite you, that doesn't exactly work with this. You may be not inclined to do number 1, to drop your independence, and you may not be inclined to make that person your shepherd. So point number 3 is to recognize that Christ is the good shepherd. Think about that shepherd I told you about and all the things he could see, the sheep couldn't see. Everything in him was being directed towards the good of those sheep. It wasn't just for the tour guide. He was showing us what would be done daily on behalf of those sheep. To see God as one who cares for you. God is one who watches over you. Christ is one who would lay down his life for you. If you need a partner, this is the partner. right? If you're going to align yourself with a spiritual source, this is the one to align yourself with. The one who knows you by name, the one whose voice you recognize, the one who loves you and who cares for you, who would lay down his life for you and wants all good things for you. Number 3 is to make that our understanding of God, which reinforces everything from here on, reinforces number 1 and number 2. This is someone we can trust. We can lay down our rebellion. This is one we can trust to link ourselves to him. Now, number 4 and 5 is peace and trust. And peace is when you're walking through the valley of the shadow of death. Because when you've got a shepherd, you can be at peace. When things are going wrong and falling apart all around you, you don't need to fall apart too. We can trust that the shepherd is watching, that the shepherd is guiding, and we can walk through those hard times in peace. We are being watched out for. That this is a temporary thing. We're not lost. We're not behind a mountain. The shepherd sees all of it, and he is guiding us through. As you go through the valley of the shadow of death, fear no evil. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Number 5, being trust, is when you get into challenges to entrust them to God. When you find yourself in a difficult point or there's something you need to get through that's going to be hard, to entrust it through your spirit to the shepherd. Give that thing to the shepherd, asking for advice, asking for guidance. This is going to be difficult. I don't know how I'll get this new job. This is going to be difficult. There's so much tragedy happening right now. How will I get to the other side? To take this challenge, and rather than thinking, I'm going to do it, I'm going to make this thing happen, remember number 1 and number 2. Remember to drop the sense of rebellion and independence, to entrust the direction of your life into the hands of the shepherd, and then to entrust this challenge, and then to listen and follow and go as you are led. It's good to have a shepherd because it makes these times manageable. It makes us able to endure them. Number 6 of the 7 is action. Because one of the ways the shepherd guides us is from the inside. The shepherd will give you an understanding. The shepherd will give you an inspiration. The shepherd will make you think, well, this is something we ought to do, or this is something where I ought to go, or I should write this thing down, or this thing could be great, or we could do this over here. When you have, as your beliefs are being shaped, we have to align our actions with those things. If the shepherd's giving us guidance, but we don't act on it, then there's no good in having the shepherd, you see. So this important one is to align your understanding, to align your heart and your mind and your understanding and your belief with the things that you do in your life. For example, if you believe that it's unhealthy to eat a whole cake, then don't eat a whole cake, right? I mean, this is sort of a nutrition one, that you're being given the insight that I should be careful, I should watch, I should have a balanced life, a balanced diet so I can be strong and I can be healthy, and then we do unhealthy and unstrong things, right? To align our actions with our beliefs is part of following the shepherd. And the last one is to pray. The last one is to pray. Praying is not simply asking God to give us something, right? Prayer is communion and communication with the shepherd. Prayer is helping your spirit to do number 1 and number 2. Prayer is part of sort of dropping the rebelliousness and linking ourselves to God. Prayer is part of offering to God our concerns and our needs. Prayer is part of the listening. Prayer is part of the relationship. This picture on the cover of the bulletin of that, like the shepherd and the sheep, this is a picture of prayer, right? Just to simply be in the arms of the shepherd and to love the shepherd as the shepherd is loving you. What were the 7 steps then? The 7 steps are these. To drop our rebelliousness, to link our hearts, our lives, the direction of our lives to a shepherd, to decide you will have a shepherd. God is my shepherd, and I join that flock. Number 3 is to recognize the shepherd who loves you. This is an image of God who cares for you, who would lay down everything for you to hold that. To have peace when you walk through hard times, to entrust particular challenges to the shepherd, trusting the direction, to align your actions in your life with the beliefs that you're given by the shepherd, and finally to pray so that our hearts can constantly be aligned with the shepherd. Imagine how good that little ladybug's life could have been for a second if it had only had a shepherd it could listen to. We have better ears than a ladybug, we have better hearts than a ladybug, and we have a shepherd who's laid down his life for us. So lay down your life before the shepherd and find out how good it is to be part of it.